Welcome to another College Hoops breakdown weekend preview. I know this camera, man, this camera. I got a brand new Mac. It looks like I have a filter on. Lighting is this is the newest Mac I got with some golf winning. So I'm happy to bring it out to the stream finally. But I've been waiting to do another hoops preview. The first one went well. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been an awesome, super fun basketball season. I know I get shit on by Brian for betting on some of the most low-level games. But hey, it's whatever wins you money. I'm up at midnight sweating Cal Baptist versus Dixie State. Like, that is what we live for. And we have 55 days until Selection Sunday, I believe. So you got a little bit less than 2 months left. So I'm excited to keep this run going, keep winning money in college basketball. And yeah, let's get into some of the biggest games on the hoop slate this weekend. First game, Creighton Xavier. It should be a fun one. I love Big East hoops. There's nothing better than Big East hoops, in my opinion. Just the officiating is so good. Good by good, I mean they let the boys play, and that's what really matters, in my opinion. They let the guys play, and it's physical and it's fun. All the games are the games are close. See, the ESPN thinks the Xavier has an 88% chance of winning this game, and I don't know if I would say 88%. This is going to be a closer game than I think 88% win percentage. Xavier is off of a comeback effort versus Villanova. They actually shot quality had them winning that game about like 75% of the time or something like that. They should have beat Nova at home, and Xavier has been very good at home. I think that was their first loss at home to Nova, who they've already lost to twice. But this is a great bounce back spot for Xavier. I actually love them in the first half against a Creighton team who hasn't played in 10 days, and they're super young. They're like basically all freshmen, but with that, they have a super high ceiling. So I like them to come out hot and get out physical by this Xavier team. But Creighton is a team that you're going to want to look at like down the road to pull off an upset because their ceiling is so high, but they're just so young. And I've been saying that all year how I love their ceiling, but I don't love them in like game by game situations. But they have a high ceiling. They're 10-4. They're one of the most talented teams in the entire country. They're a team to keep your eye on. But I like Xavier here. I really do. I got like 12 games to talk about, so I'm gonna run through them a few minutes on each game. Nothing crazy. Anything I miss, DM me or something. Talk about. All right, we'll move on to the next game that I noted. It is Seton Hall at Marquette, another Big East game, and this is going to be a good one. Seton Hall is playing their second straight road game. They just played DePaul, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and they lost 96-92, something like that. DePaul's a good team, especially on the road. DePaul needed to win that game. They started off 0-2 or 0-3 in the Big East, and Seton Hall kind of got them at a bad time. But DePaul is a very solid team, and there was more scoring than I expected to be. I thought that'd be more of a defensive fest between Seton Hall and DePaul, but it was a lot of points. DePaul got the win, and it wasn't that much of an upset. Seton Hall was only 4.5-point favorite. So back-to-back road games, like I said. Marquette started 0-3 in the Big East, but have won 3 straight. And I didn't love their roster preseason, but there are a lot of transfers and a brand new coach, Shaka Smart. But Shaka Smart has them playing, and it's good to see because I like when Marquette's good. It's good for the Big East, but this is going to be a really close game. I'm obviously a huge Seton Hall fan, New Jersey. I like Marquette here by like 1 or 2 last possession type thing. Seton Hall should come out to a good start. I love the way Seton Hall is going to defend them especially on the 3-point line. No one has a better perimeter defense and transition defense than Seton Hall, but I preach how tough it is to close out road conference games. And even though I think Seton Hall is a better team, I think they just a bad scheduling for them. Like at DePaul on a must-win spot, then at a good Marquette team who's surging. I think this is going to be a super close game, but I do like Marquette. It's a noon game. It's going to be fun to watch early in the day. All right, we'll move on to game number 3, where we have SEC, Tennessee at Kentucky. Let me pull this up, see what ESPN says Kentucky has a 70% chance of winning this game. See, I don't think matchup predictor is really a good thing you should be looking at because I don't think Kentucky wins this game seven. Maybe 7 out of 10 times. But especially in the situation, Xavier Wheeler has missed the last 1.5, 2 games. He should be back for this Kentucky game, which is huge because that just gives another person to guard Kennedy Chandler. And if Kennedy Chandler gets going for Tennessee, they could play with anyone in the whole country. And I know that sounds crazy, but they really can. He's one of the most talented freshmen in the entire country. Kentucky's off a solid win on the road at a Vanderbilt team without Xavier Wheeler, and he's back. So that was a good win versus Kentucky. I thought that was gonna be a little closer. Um, they are dangerous when Kennedy Chandler's in the lineup, and I mean when Kennedy Chandler's going, and when you don't know like what's gonna happen if he's gonna get going or not because they don't match up great with Kentucky for Kennedy Chandler with Davion Mintz or Xavier Wheeler guarding him, but with that matchup and then with Oscar down low, it's gonna be tough for Tennessee. I think. I, Even if Kentucky has an off shooting day, they can get damn near every offensive rebound. And I mean, the Cats are dangerous, especially with the healthy guards. Ty Washington is awesome. I can't wait for Ty versus Kennedy Chandler, two of the most talented freshmen in the country. It's gonna be awesome. I think Kentucky edges them out. Could be handedly too, especially when they're getting their guys back. They're probably pissed after losing that game to LSU. Took it out on Vandy because I don't have to talk about LSU luck box, but LSU is the luckiest team in the country, and that proved again to happen versus Florida. Just FYI, I have a potential bomb coming next week in the Alabama LSU game. But yeah, I think Kentucky edges them out here at home. Gonna be some tough matchups for Tennessee, especially down low. All right, next game on the slate that I thought was notable is Texas and Iowa State. Texas is finally starting to gel with all these transfers and Chris Beard, and they're super, super talented. I think they're still going to be without Trey Mitchell, transfer from UMass, who is awesome. But ever since Dylan Dasu's came back, transfer from Vanderbilt, big man, he's coming off the bench. They've been really, really good. They started off kind of fishy with all that talent. They didn't really know how to distribute it, but they've been doing well. They had last game they beat Oklahoma, and it was a great buy low spot off of a loss, and I took advantage for them. I had first half -3, and they won by 12 or something like that. And I know it's on the road, but Iowa State is built all around defense, and I don't think that's the formula that you want for a team like Texas. Maybe against a lesser scoring team, but Texas has the ability to score at will with these guards, Marcus Carr, Allen, and Jones. And then if Trey Mitchell's back, which I don't think he will be, but I think there's gonna be a problem for Iowa State. And I mean, you can't say defense is nothing because teams that are built around defense, like Iowa State, like Porter Moser teams, like Abilene Christian, even last year in the tournament, they beat Texas. And obviously, wow, it makes sense. Texas lost to a team built around defense, but I don't know. I don't think that the defense is going to be enough for Iowa State to slow down this talented Longhorns team. And I know, like I said, it's so tough to win on the road, especially in conference. But I think Texas will edge them out here. I mean, I would predict this game to be Iowa State -1.5, something like that. And if it's anything above that, I might buy some Texas, but we'll see when that comes because I think this is gonna be a close game, and I do think Texas will edge it out low. If the line opens up Iowa State -1.5 or 2, I'm sure the public will come in on Texas because there's a name that the public likes, but we'll see. All right, I got some Big Ten action for you guys. Rutgers heads to Maryland, and these two teams are kind of heading in opposite directions, you could say. I don't know. It's so weird because Rutgers, when they play at home at the RAC, is basically the AP #1 team. Can beat anyone in the country. And as soon as you take them out of New Jersey, put them in any other arena, they are IUPUI. Like they just can't do it outside of the rack, and it's been that way for years. The rack has been one of the toughest places to play for years, and I think that trend continues. Maryland has been really feisty. They just came off of a gauntlet. They just played Illinois, home versus Wisconsin, and at a good Northwestern team. They beat Northwestern, and they played the other two teams who were top 20 teams in the country really, really, really close. Ever since Maryland fired Mark Turgeon, they've been a little bit better. I mean, I didn't think that was going to be the case because Danny Manning's kind of a mess, but that has been the case. And I don't really love how Rutgers matches up with them either. Rutgers is going to try to beat you off the dribble, and Maryland is a pretty stout defensive team and should be able to handle that. So I like Maryland here. Should be a close game. Two pretty similar match Big Ten teams, but I do like Maryland here. All right, we will move into some mid-major games, and if you know me, I love mid-major basketball. Where do we have? Here we go. Furman at Chattanooga. This game is going to be fun, and it would be a lot more fun if David Jean-Baptiste was playing. He's ruled ineligible. I'm pretty sure he got into some legal trouble because they're not really saying why he's not playing or why he's ineligible, but he's out, and that is going to be huge for Chattanooga because they have been pretty solid recently, and then they just lost to West Carolina with him gone, which is massive, which is bad. And Furman's was the preseason favorite in this conference. So they still are the favorite, and especially now with Baptiste being out, that kind of hurts Chattanooga's chances, especially if he's out all season. Chattanooga was my pick preseason to win this conference over Furman, but I don't know. Furman's at home off of a bad loss. They're losing one of their best players. I feel like it seems like it's a good spot, but it could just be too big of a blow to recover from this talented Furman team who is really solid. It's going to be a lot of points. I don't think any of these teams are going to stop each other. I don't really love betting totals. You know that. I only bet sides for the most part, but I don't know. This is in like the 143 range, 144. I might take the over. I can see this being 150, 160. We'll see when the line comes out. I don't handicap totals at all, so I don't really have a gauge for that. But this might be a game where I take the over if it's in the 140, mid 140 range. All right, back to some Big 12. We will get into Oklahoma and TCU. This should be a fun one because I don't love Oklahoma's roster at all. Actually, it's one of my least favorite rosters in the Big 12. And when I was like deep diving it preseason, I was like, this roster, it's basically Eastern Washington from last year. Well, two players and a new coach. I don't love it at all. Jordan Goldwire is the only person on Oklahoma who can score the ball like by himself. And I know that it's not really needed for a Porter Moser-led team who will just swarm you defensively and just be really, really physical. But I just don't love Oklahoma in the Big 12, like with that style. TCU, I also didn't like preseason with all those transfers, but they proved to like be really, really good. And Mike Miles, their starting point guard, is one of the best guards in the Big 12, if not the best. He's super, super talented and fun to watch. But I don't know. Oklahoma is turning into a true Porter Moser team. Like they're swarming, and they've been playing teams tough. But I think this is going to be a really close game. I don't like Oklahoma's ability to keep pace with TCU. But at the same time, if TCU can struggle to score against this Oklahoma team, I'm very interested to see what this line will be. I can see Oklahoma being a small favorite based off the public name and where they think the money will come in. But I think TCU gets it done. And I mean, so does ESPN. They have a 55% chance to win, it says. I can see Oklahoma being a 1 or 2 point favorite, though, just based off the name. So we will see what happens in that game. I like TCU to get it done at home in Fort Worth. All right, we got some more Big 12 for you. Oklahoma State and Baylor. Baylor off of their first loss of the season to Texas Tech. And I'm sorry, Oklahoma State, but you're running into a buzzsaw. You just lost to Texas Tech as well. And with Baylor running no middle, just like Texas Tech runs no middle, you just schematically, that's not what you guys do, Oklahoma State. You guys cannot stop that. You proved to not be able to stop that at Texas Tech, and you're going to get more of it versus Baylor. Like, It's crazy to think about how important Cade Cunningham was to this Oklahoma State roster, because when you look at the roster from last year to this year, there's not much of a change but Cade Cunningham. And I thought they'd still be good with Avery Anderson having a breakout season, but like they're just not that good. And like let's deep dive their schedule real quick. Um like losing to Oakland, who's like I can live with that. Like Oakland's really good, but NC State beating them, this was a closer game than that. They're nothing. Like they should be able to beat them more handily. Almost lost to them. Lost to Wichita, who I'm not big on at all. Barely beat Cleveland State, who I mean is right the same team as Oakland basically. I mean, just not great, not great. And then they get in the Big 12 play. They're 1-3. Beating Texas, I feel like it was an outlier, but they just manhandled them inside. Yeah, I just don't love this Oklahoma State team, and I thought I'd be higher on them uh coming into the season, but it's just a bad spot for Baylor. I feel like Baylor's going to be like a 12, 13 point favorite here, and I wouldn't be afraid to lay that, especially no, I wouldn't lay first half because Oklahoma State could come out hot. Baylor though should be able to outlast them and win this game by 15 plus points. So definitely I think Baylor will win this game handedly, just based on the spot, and the spot plus the schematics and X's and O's of it. They just match up horribly with Oklahoma State. But if what's his name is out again, Jeremy Sochan is out. That's going to be big. He was out against Texas Tech, and that proved to be tough defense. Like on the defensive side of things, they weren't able to switch normally. So we'll see if he's playing. He's questionable. Sorry, Oklahoma State again. You're running into a buzzsaw. All right, we have another mid-major game on the slate that I think will be awesome. It's going to be the game of the year in the Ohio Valley Conference. We got Murray State at Belmont. Like these two teams are both awesome in the OVC. 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, maybe 1A, 1A. Murray State super athletes. Belmont super shooters. So it can go either way. I like Belmont at home, but Murray State, if they want to get into a track meet, I think Murray State will win. And I don't know if I think Belmont is a veteran team and smart enough for that not to be the case. I know they like to run too, but a team like Murray State, I don't think they should run. I think they should keep it slow, out IQ them, out basketball them, shoot better than they will, and they should shoot better than Murray State will. But Murray State, if it turns into a track meet, Murray State could get it done on the road. Belmont has played a better schedule, so I would lean them there for that reason. But Murray State has took down Memphis already. They've seen length. They've seen a good team. They're not going to be intimidated. They want revenge running into OVC play. Obviously, they didn't win it last year. Moorhead won it last year, so this is a run it back season for Murray State. And I mean, but the same thing for Belmont. They lost in the final to Moorhead, and they want blood too. And this starts with Murray State because basically Murray State is their only comp this year. Belmont's Moorhead's a little down in my opinion. So we'll see how this turns out. This is going to be an awesome game to watch if you get the chance to. 5 o'clock on ESPN Plus. I would definitely check this game out in the second half. All right, we'll move on to some more mid-major action. And don't complain that I'm talking about mid-major basketball. Just don't, because mid-major basketball is awesome. We got Loyola Chicago and Indiana State. The game is cool. Loyola Chicago beat them by 12, I believe, at home over a month ago. But Loyola Chicago, I can't talk right now. They beat them by 12. They had a month COVID pause, and then they had 3 straight emotional games. I'll show you in the schedule. So this is about a month break right here. Beat Indiana State by 12. Yes, I was right. Had that COVID pause. San Francisco, this was a game that was scheduled like a few days earlier. It was a 1-point game the entire game. They edged them out. Overtime versus Bradley, they won. Overtime versus Valpo, they won. Now they head on the road to Indiana State, a team they already beat, and a team that may have the purest scorer in the entire Missouri Valley in Cam Henry. and a team that just took Northern Iowa to overtime and were up 17 points in the second half with 7 players. So we're going to get Loyola Chicago being a big favorite. That's just inevitable. We're going to get them being maybe a double-digit favorite, and I hope we do. And I think this is a great spot to just buy Indiana State. Look, Loyola Chicago is a much better team. They can outrun them. They have out depth them, if whatever you want to call me saying out depth. They have better dogs on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. Cam Henry can score at will. He can score them points. I don't know if Cooper Neese is back, but even if he's not, which would be awesome if he is for Indiana State, even if he's not, we're going to get Loyola being a big favorite. They're playing a team they already beat off of 3 straight emotional games. Indiana State just lost a game by 17 points with 7 guys. So they're coming ready to play for sure at home. And I just like Indiana State to maybe upset them. Maybe upset them. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do upset them. I probably will take Indiana State if we get the right number. If it's 10 plus, I probably have no choice but to bet it. And maybe they pull the upset off. So, yep, we'll see how it goes there. I love this game is going to be really fun. We will move on to some more Missouri Valley Conference action. Back up. Back up. Back up. Where's my game? There we go. This is going to be a fun one. Northern Iowa at Southern Illinois. Marcus Domask, AJ Green. If you don't know them, remember their names. They're right there. 2 of the most fun players to watch in all of college basketball. AJ Green didn't play last season. He played 2 years ago, averaged like 20.5 points per game. Domask also didn't play last season. He got hurt early, and he's a prolific scorer too, but he's more of a point forward type guy. AJ Green's a point guard. These 2 players are awesome. So fun to watch. SIU just took Missouri State to the last few minutes on the road. Missouri State's a better team than them, and they don't match up great with them with Gage Prim down low. And they were given 8. I had I had SIU plus 8. It covered for the whole game and won. I had to sprinkle the money line. They almost got it done. They just couldn't get over the hump. Once they got it to like a 2-point game, they couldn't get the breakthrough. But and Northern Iowa just beat Missouri State at Missouri State because they can just have those games where AJ Green just goes crazy and scores. But in this spot, I like Southern Illinois, but it's crazy. Northern Iowa beat Missouri State on the road. Southern Illinois almost beat Missouri State on the road. And then Northern Iowa almost lost to Indiana State who had 7 guys. So Southern Illinois is back at home. I know this is a lot. Southern Illinois is back at home. I like them to win this game. They're probably going to be favored by 2.5, something like that. I like Southern Illinois at home. They're probably going to be favored by 2.5. I don't know. It's Friday afternoon. Nothing's come out yet for spreads. I'm going to guess 2.5, maybe even less. 2.5. I think they cover that number. And it's going to be a fun game. Let's go Southern Illinois. I love these 2 teams. Southern Illinois is one of my favorite teams to bet on last year. They got no respect from the books, and they made us a lot of money. So let's go Southern Illinois. I think they can win this game and just keep – I'm going to look at these actually standings for the Missouri Valley real quick. Because – where can I look at the standings? Oh, here we go. Dude, this conference is awesome. Because, okay, Loyola Chicago is the best team for sure. For sure. The second best team, Missouri State. It should be Drake because they just returned everyone and they just aren't doing good right now. And I don't really know why, but it should be Drake. So Loyola Chicago, Missouri State, Drake. Then I would go probably SIU, Northern Iowa, but they're like interchangeable. And then Bradley can beat anyone because they're like the biggest team in the country. They're fucking huge. Indiana State I probably cuts in half there. And maybe you can throw Valpo in there. Valpo with Kobe King, Wisconsin transfer. He's a stud, and he makes them win games. And then this conference is so deep, man. Anyone can be anyone. Evansville's probably the worst team, but they are competitive too. I love me some MVC basketball. God damn it, I love it. All right, final game that I'll talk about. Oregon heads to USC. Oregon may have just saved their season, beating UCLA on the road. And which did surprise me. Yes, it did. But preseason, it wouldn't have surprised me. I loved Oregon's roster heading into the season. Gorgeous roster. It looked like so athletic, so deep. Dana Altman's amazing. Like, it looked awesome. It looked for another great year for Oregon. But they've done nothing but disappoint. Even though they're 10-6, yeah. But they've done nothing but disappoint. They played teams they should have crushed super close and just lost the teams they should have beat. And USC, on the other hand, I hated their roster preseason, but they started 13-0 or something like that. But when you look at their schedule, they didn't play anyone, and they got public love, ranked number 5 in the country. But I still don't love their roster. They lost to Stanford. They almost lost to Oregon State last night, and they just beat the teams they should be beating. And now this might be their toughest game of the season, honestly. Home versus Oregon, who's talented, super confident, and maybe you think, oh my God, this is such a letdown spot after they beat Oregon, just beat UCLA. They're not going to win 2 games on the road versus top 5 teams. Don't be surprised if they do, because I was high on this Oregon team preseason, and they just proved what they can be last season. Oregon is a super high rim rate offense, and I love that against Trevez Goodwin, USC big man, and I just think he's soft. I'm sorry if you're listening. If you're listening to this, Trevez Goodwin, you're soft, and you need to get more physical because you're talented. But USC's defense is so mobile that they're gonna give Oregon fits. This is gonna be a close game. I'm not gonna say Oregon's gonna win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon pulls another upset. So, yep, that's all the games I have to talk about. Any other questions, feel free to DM me if you want to hop on the package for this week, and DM me. We're going to win money. We had a bad Saturday last week, but we rebounded awesome this week. We're up 4 winning days in 5 days. So let's keep that up. It's been a fun year. DM me with any questions. DM me if you want to hop on. Peace out. Let's have a weekend.